Hello and welcome to another What's Inside. Today we're looking at Iron Dragon. This is from Mayfair Games. Retails for about 60 bucks. This is a newer edition of it. So the older editions are still available sometimes. You can still kind of blunder across them. But this is a fancy new box. This is for 2 to 6 players, ages 12 and up. Takes about 2 to 4 hours to play. So let's open it up, see what's inside. Alright, here's the back of the box, just general information on here. And inside we're going to find 1 plastic laminated board, 95 load chips, 132 demand cards, 20 event cards, 18 two-sided logo cards, 13 foreman cards, 13 ship cards, money, 6 player pawns, 6 crayons, and a rule book. So let's see what is in here and how it looks. Alright, immediately the box is not in any way laminated. This is just like rough cardboard. This is going to get stained real easily. If you spill anything near this, it's going to be warped in a second. So be aware of that. And they put the lid on upside down. Alright, so here's our 6 crayons. They're a lot bigger than the last edition, I think. They seemed a lot smaller in that one. And they say Mayfair Games on it, and it says Empire Builder. So there's your crayons. You got yellow, blue, red, orange, green, and black. Then we've got our rule book. Very colorful, pretty nice quality paper. It's only 16 pages long. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of art in here and some tables. So it's not that challenging of a game. It's actually a fairly simple game. But it looks more intimidating than it is. And we've got some tokens that are wrapped, but we'll look at that momentarily. Okay, so here's our board. And it is not a fold-out board. It is actually one of these that comes in several pieces. And quite honestly, that kind of annoys me. These aren't terribly thick either. Alright, once we look into the box though, it does have these awesome little trays for all the different chits and tokens. And then there's things here. Then we've got our cards in stacks here. So we're going to look at these last. Let's take a look at the board pieces. So like I said, this is not particularly thick. If it had been a little thicker, it would have been a lot nicer. But you can already kind of see how it has a slight bow to it. And the back is just kind of generically blank, which is fine. But it doesn't feel like it's got a lot of protection to it. Feels a little cheap, honestly, in my opinion. So this is the second piece here. It's a fairly large board too. So putting it out my table is probably not big enough to show you the whole thing assembled. But it's shorter than you think, it's just longer. But it's okay. I don't know how well the crayon is going to come off of here. I think it probably should have had a better coating on it for the crayons because you're going to be wiping it down all the time. I would have liked a little bit of a thicker coating to it. Yeah, so I'd say this board is okay. It's not as nice as I kind of thought it would be. But it's definitely not the worst it could have been either. I'd say it's kind of mid-range. I'm really disappointed in it, actually. Let's see how many pieces there are. So, yeah, 8 pieces for the board. So it'll be a fairly extensive map, but still kind of small in my opinion. Alright, so let's open this up and see what our pieces look like here. Alright, so we've got fish, ale, wands, spells, arms, cloth, jewelry, armor, steel, potions. So it's just kind of a fantasy edition of the game. And of course on the back it's got a little symbol for everything. So when you sort these out, they'll fit on the little trays. And this one has spices for quite a bit down here. We've got spices in the middle, pipeweed, hops, wheat, then lumber, fruit, pilgrims, gems, iron, gold, fur, ivory, and wine. And there's not a whole lot of each one, so if you lose one of these, you're going to either have to make a supplement one or order some replacements somewhere. But they're okay for thickness, not great. I think punching them out might be a little bit of a concern because they could rip the top of the token fairly easily, I think. Alright, let's look at our cards. We'll go one stack at a time, and we'll see what we've got here. I'm going to adjust the camera so we can get a closer look at the quality, and I'll be right back in a second. Okay, we'll start with this stack. I don't think there's any real difference between the two, so just pick one at random and open it up and see what we've got in here. And missed the wastebasket. Alright, so quite a lot of cards. So let's see what we've got here. We've got a blank card. Ooh, isn't that awesome? Another blank, third blank, fourth. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now these are numbered. That says number 132. And there are 132 cards, so it's nice they're numbered. So be aware of that. But we'll look at all of them and see if they're consistently good. And lastly, card number 37. So the stack's actually pretty big. There's quite a lot of cards here. The quality's okay. They're a little slick, so they will slide around, but I would definitely consider putting them in some sleeves. I don't know how well they're going to hold up over time with even moderate play. And at the price point, you probably don't want to screw around too much. Alright, let's open up this other pack and see what we've got here. Alright, so we've got different cards as well, so we'll finish up with the Iron Dragon cards, then we'll get into the locomotives and the other cards that are in here. So we'll separate these out a little bit. Okay. So here's card number 36. I have to say the design is a little boring. They could have done something other than use like 1997 desktop publisher to do this. Spice it up a little bit. But I get it. They're probably trying to save a little bit of cost on color. And the last one, card number 1. Alright, so that's all of those. Let's take a look at the engine cards here. See what we've got. Alright, that's a 16. And there's a couple of these cards. So we've got quite a few here actually. Looks like there's 9 of these that say 16 on one side, but on the other side is a 10. And then we have 3 of those. And then it jumps to a 16 on the back with a 12 on the other side. There's another one. Third one, and then we have a 14, also with the 16 on the back, and we have 3 of those. Then we have a 14, which is a level 4, whereas these were a 3. And there are 3 cards with that on the back, and then it's got a 2 with a 12 on the other side. And they're all 3 the same. So those are our engine cards. Then we've got these stock number 10 cars that are like level 1s. and there are 6 of those. And on the back side is this chart. And like I said, there's 6 of them in total. Don't really need to show you the same thing 6 times. You get the idea. Alright, then we go to these cards. So it's got this cool like ocean look to it. And here we've got a golden sprite ship. It's a 13. Then a feather moth, also a 13. A vulture, which is a 12. Then a royal sovereign, which is 12. And a mother bren, which is an 11. Worth less gold as well. A 4th emperor, also an 11. Old Mormoth, a 10. Hyperion, a 10. Eastern Star, which is also a 10. Seahawk, which is a 9 and only worth 1 gold pieces. Then we have a Far Horizon, which is also a 9. A Serpent, which is an 8. And lastly, a Parecus Packet, which is also an 8. So again, card quality is the same as the other ones. Not bad, not great. Don't think they're going to hold up to heavy shuffling though. And they are a little bit of an odd shape, so you're probably not going to be able to put them in sleeves. Alright, then we've got these other cards that have the same Iron Dragon image on the back, but these are different cards. So let's take a look at these. First up we have a Flood. Another Flood. Slightly different text, so be aware of that. Then a Flood. This is a different river. Then we have Pirates. Pirates attack, seize booty. All trains on ships lose 1 turn and 1 load. That's pretty rough. Evil Prince summons Warlord. Rogue Magic. This one's got a different design on the back. And this one is Barbarians Attack. Let's see if the... Yeah, it's the only one that's got different backing for some reason. Looks like there's some more later on in the deck. I'll try and point them out as we go. Then we're back to the Iron Dragon image. Then we have Wizard Strike. Winged Demons Escape Underworld. That's a day ruiner. Sea Serpent. Magic Tempest. Siren Song Seaman Enchanted. Then we have a War Tax. Peasants Are Revolting. Elven Anti-Railroad Activists Attack. Volcanoes erupt, causing free dragons to attack. Ice Storm. A Hurricane. Sandstorm. And Rainbow Bridge. A lot of these only affect certain areas, of course, so it keeps you kind of on your toes. And then the rest of these have this same background we saw a minute ago with that unique looking card. So these are probably different decks. So first up we've got a Karis Catman. Then we've got a Snar Catman. Dinger Noshin something dwarf. Auric Iron Fist, also a dwarf. Ragnar Rockjaw, also a dwarf. Whirlpool Windle, Wee Folk, Kudum Ram, Orc, Hurricane Troll, Denzel Halbazich, Human, Graka, Human, Stefan, Half Elf, Percy Brown, Elf, and lastly, Gwyneth Gray, Elf. I'm sure I really said all those names wrong, but like I said, I'm not good at language. So hopefully I don't want to hear about it. So that's all the cards, which means we've seen everything that's inside. Which means that's going to bring this episode to a close. There is not much to really say about the game. It looks okay. I'm not a big fan of using crayons in games though, especially because the board doesn't look particularly well structured. I think it's going to get damaged or have crayon residue after a while. But that's just my opinion. I don't particularly like the Empire Builder game, and this one looks like it's probably okay. The art is really cool. They did put a lot of time in that. Wish they'd put a little more quality into the product, especially at the price point. But overall, it could be fun. If you like train building games, you'll probably really like this. So, looks interesting. It'll probably be as fun as Empire Builder, but I just don't like the crayons. I think that's a little bit lazy. And it's like a cost-cutting measure. That's also the cleanup factor's really annoying. But that's what's inside. Be sure to check it out if you're looking for a new game to play with trains. It's probably your jam. But in the meantime, that's it for this video. We've seen everything we can see. And hopefully you'll join us again on the next episode. Thanks as always for watching. And if you want to support the channel, links are in the description. Otherwise, give us a like and subscribe, and we hope to see you on the next one.